They're broken down and defeated, detergent, busy and confused, sleeping. You're dying while I wait you to get started on the journey chosen, wasted, no selected. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile. Silver and jaded, they're not coming, they're broken down and defeated. You are dying while I wait you to get started. You are dying while I wait you to get started. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah. Crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile.
I'm a motherfucking unicorn, a one of one. The vibe being the love and light, the enlightened one. My karma is interstellar, I live by truth. Fighting evil, my scars are living proof. Protecting you from the storms with all my might. Love me, I will treat you right. You ever cross me, it's the last thing you'll ever do. With my crown of thorns, I'll wreck you. I ain't playing, yo, Bryan hard, call me a saint. Too bad Chris, because Bigfoot knows my name. I'm a messenger of God, with loyalty I serve, taking out all evil with his holy word. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand, slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand, slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Hello. Hello, one and all. Welcome to Third Eye Live for April 9th, actually, 2025. I'm your host, Brian Bowden, Sir Brian, remote viewer Brian, big sexy, whatever you want to call me. I will answer to anything at this point in time. I want to welcome you to the broadcast. We are out of Mercury retrograde, which is really interesting. Which is great because it's been pretty crappy up to this point for a lot of people. But we're in something that I just was made aware of, Venus retrograde. And that deals with love and emotions. And so basically, don't do anything until Venus retrograde is over. So around the 15th, tax day, go figure, things will get a lot better and life will be going good for everybody else. I don't want to waste time because this gentleman is an amazing person and a friend of mine, and I was honored when he said yes to come on. I've asked everybody in their network, and I call it a network because it's a network of solid human beings. And let's bring in the one and only BMR, Rob.
Well, thank you for that, Brian.
Yeah, it's you guys when I'm gonna let you do, like, for those people out there that don't know who this man is. Hold on, maybe I should just get my bandana on. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. So
Yeah,
no,
there
I'm
you
not gonna wear
go.
it today.
Yeah, no.
But I used to wear it. I used to have longer hair, and then I got married. That was
Oh,
there it goes. So, but if for everybody that doesn't know who BMR is at this point, I don't want to read the he is this, but you
right.
go tell them.
Yeah, well, thanks, Brian. First, always a pleasure, an honor to come on for the first time on your millionth podcast or whatever the big joke
Thank
is.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so thank you for that in the opening. Yeah, it's funny about the bandana. I was telling you a story backstage. One of the first conferences I did, and people are coming up to me. I know you, right? I go, well, yeah, I'm, big BMR, big Bigfoot. Oh, I didn't recognize without the bandana. It's kind of become my trademark.
It is.
And my audience are known as pirates, our mateys. So it's kind of evolved. It's turned out to be pretty fun over the last 3 years at least. So yeah, but yeah, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, obviously, BMR. That was not my born name. I was born Robert Michael, not BMR, not Bigfoot Rob. Corny joke, I know, but I throw that out there once in a while. Yeah, Brian, I little background, I went to Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, grew up like everybody else, and always was fascinated with monsters and paranormal and all this as a kid, and really, I worked at Ford Motor Company for about 20 years, and then saved up enough money. I then went ahead and so always wanted to own a business. Didn't know quite what it was. So I came across this parcel of property, which for whatever the reason, the person was giving it away very cheap. So I said, well, hell, I'm just going to buy this property, just for the value that I saw in it. And it was a bar. And I didn't know what I was getting in the bar industry. Never
Right.
know nothing about it, Brian, and I said, well, I've been buying this regardless, and I'll decide later. Ended up revamping and turned it into a bar, which I owned for 13 years, which ended up having some hauntings of its own throughout the 13 years.
Yes, we will be getting into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I did that. Loved that. I was glad that I left Ford Motor. Part of my job toward the end of my career there is I was one of the guys that had to come up with ways with engineering to bring in robotics and deplete the workforce, right? I never liked that. I was always the guy that had to give out the here's your Christmas present and you're laid off type thing. That was my job as well.
That is terrible.
It weighed on me for a long time. Yeah, it's very terrible.
I've been in the same position, and it's the worst.
And I developed a lot of friends in
It's
20
the
years.
worst.
And most of my friends were labor and union guys. And I was a white collar floor manager, though. I dressed in khakis and that, but a lot of good friends I met over the years. So it stunk. So I ended up doing that, opening the bar, did that, owned that, and then sold that in 2020, right before COVID hit. I don't
Lucky
think,
you.
yeah, so poor guy sold it to. I hope he's doing okay. It since went
It's
out of business along with
really,
2,200 other restaurants and bars in that year because Michigan totally shut down everything.
yeah,
So if you owned a restaurant, a small business, you were pretty much done for, especially in the food industry, service industry.
yep,
It was not a good thing for anybody. So I did that, and along the ways, well, throughout my entire life, I've always had weird experiences, which we can get into a little later. But then in 2018 is when it really all unfolded for me, as when I came across and had that Bigfoot encounter that most people know about, and that set me on the path. And really, because of that encounter, is because I was in a desperate place and felt lost and alone for a long time, and nobody really would help me in the beginning. Didn't know where to turn really until I met a nice group of people that helped me through it. And so I said, and I did. I went on the West Germer's Sasquatch Chronicles. I did it for the very first time. He was a nice guy. Walked me through it because I had to tell you, I was a mess on that show. I really was, and thankfully it wasn't live.
yeah. That's
And
back
so
in the day with
back,
the pre-records. With thank
yeah,
God for those, because
yes. Oh, it was maybe a 90-minute show, maybe 60-minute show that probably took 2 hours to get through because of all the edits he had to put in, all the retakes and stuff. I said, sorry, man. But he was very nice. And so, yeah, then that's kind of how my channel evolved, was first just to help people and spread awareness. Now it's turned into, a four nights a week type of show, man, with talking cryptids, paranormal. We even talk. Now we're getting to the point where we get followers talking about food now. I did
yeah,
I did that Hellman's Duke's challenge on a Saturday night late with the girls, and
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one,
okay,
but
that's funny. Yeah, well, we're on, really brief. I'll just get over this when we get started. Tuesday nights, I'm out with Krista from the Blondes and the Boost. Tuesday nights at 9. Thursday afternoon with Tex at 1 o'clock. Now I'm doing an encounter show where I'm just there telling encounter stories that I've received over the years. I do that at Friday. Then Saturday night is the fun show. We still get bizarre and weird, but it's me, Krista, Brandy, and Monica Rollins from our paranormal world. And it's the end of the week. We cut back. We have a good time, and any topic goes. And that's a lot of fun. So that's where I am today. And so it's evolved into this thing out of something that I never thought I'd be doing this as long as I've been doing it. Almost going on 4 years now.
it's incredible. I mean, my first introduction to you was actually Spaced Out Radio. I used to see you in the chat all the time, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, and then Dave would give you the shout out at the bar, and I think you would run some of this at the bar.
They did, yes.
Which is like kind of awesome. Like that would be you know what? I mean, having a bar now, that would be a pretty cool place to do shows. Like if you did your show, seriously, how cool would it be to get you and Tex in? Well, I don't know if we're going to get them up from down south, but
no, right.
Get them into the bar and you have them sit in the corner and like we're doing a live show and people are having drinks. That would be a fantastic type of experience, right?
Oh, Bryan, you took the words out of my mouth because I sold it in 2020. I started my channel it's been 4 years, so 2021 maybe it was, something like that. Anyway, so I was just thinking a while back, the only regret that I have today from selling the bar is because, man, I thought this would be cool to do the show live from the bar.
It would totally be cool to do it from the bar.
Figure out a way to kind of maybe deaden some of the audience noise but I had two sections. When I did Dave's show, I had the main floor of the bar, which is a big square bar. It would fit a lot of people. Then there was a back room that I never used, and I turned that into a smaller bar, more intimate bar, intimate setting.
Hey, let's go someplace so we can talk.
Yeah. Yes. Get away from the 25-year-olds whooping it up and go back where the older people are, right? And
being pirates and swinging.
Yeah. So I'd become a fan of Dave's channel, and I was putting it on in the background. There would be like just me in there and a couple people, and I'd be watching Dave Scott, and I'd be hanging out. And then people would start coming in. What are you watching? well, this is this guy I just found on YouTube, Space Out Radio. This really cool, interesting show.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it started growing into, I'd get a regular crowd of 10, 15 people sitting around the bar watching it. And then Dave Scott, he called me. I don't know how the hell he got my number. I might have texted him something.
You probably did, or he just found out what your bar, you mentioned your bar's
I
name.
mentioned, well, he knew about my bar many times. And I got
Yeah.
this call, and it's Dave Scott. So it's the first time we spoke together on the phone, actually, versus chatting and on a show. And then we put together a game. Every time Dave said the woo, my guest would have to buy a drink. And then the other one was plethora. Every time he said that, I would buy a drink. Two of his most famous words we all know.
Yes.
So it was back and forth. So people got into that. And yeah, I used to go on there and tell Dave, the bar's open. We're watching the show. It's about 20 of us, new subscribers. So yeah. And so me and Dave, became friends, and I've been out with him several times over the past several years. He's been on my show as well a handful of times. So yeah, that was fun. That I missed that today. That's what I miss. I don't miss the 80 hours of work, 7 days a week, up at the crack of dawn, leave at 3 a.m. type thing. No, don't miss it at all.
That is the worst part of being either in the bar business or being in a band business and, music, because you're not going on until like sometimes 1 a.m. And if you're rocking and they give you an hour,
yeah,
but sometimes it's like you need to set up, you need to get this. It's not an easy gig, but it was cool because I think you were still on the bar. There was one time I was on with Ron Murphy, and Dave had you, or I don't know if you were on the phone or you were in the audience or whatever, and we were talking about road trip to Bigfoot, Michigan, where I was bar.
I remember that story.
I was talking about like we got to get drinks made, with our names, like the guru, the crypto guru drink. What's going to be in that? I'm like, I want something. I want a Bowden drink, and I want it with like, a lot of rum in it.
Yeah,
like
the Bowden bomber.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
So, and then the spaced out radio drink,
yeah, that was
so cool. I missed out on the bar end of it, but
it was fun.
I did gain someone is a dear friend of mine, and I really do appreciate him. And you do great. I mean, you do a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You always wonder about that. And
no,
it's always good to hear that, No, you just wonder as a person, right? Because I'm always very dedicated, and whenever someone throws some love, I appreciate it,
So what I love is the family aspect that you have there. So you have yourself, you have Krista and Brandon, you have Tex, you have Paranormal Paul, you have, I keep forgetting her name. You just mentioned her. She was on Saturday night.
Monica Rollins.
Monica. And then you have a few others, Brent, I think. And
Fred pops in, with me.
Yeah, here and there.
On Thursdays, yeah.
But what I love about this is the way you guys, you kind of work, even though you're individual, and it's not technically a network. It is a network because you kind of crisscross out, everybody shares. It's like NASCAR, that's how they do it in NASCAR. So once you get in NASCAR, everybody's part of it and everybody benefits, no matter if you're Ford, Lincoln, or Chevy or whatever. We're all NASCAR and we're good. Yes, I am. there's Woo Writer from SOR. What's going on, Woo? 9,767 podcasts. I just sent Dave that little video that I did. I did a video for him, and I'm gonna, but I love that fact. And every one of you has been just a wealth of information for people, great personalities, treat people with utmost respect. And I'm always honored to be asked to come on. And I think I did like your show, and then Kristen and Brandon, like, we want him on.
Yeah.
And then like a month later, I'm like, I'm on their show. And then, you get a call, whatever, and you just do what you do, Yeah,
it's great. It's great networking because when I started my channel, when Dave Scott was on, I didn't even have a channel. I started a little later. So I was always watching I could watch his show every night because my work schedule allowed it. So I was always over there. And then the two people stood out most to me was yourself and Ronald Murphy. And I was still a little timid because I'm looking for guests. I had a couple guests, which were pretty good, but I said, well, boy, this is really a job here. I got to get guests and all this. And really, you don't,
Yeah, it sucks.
it's not a hobby for me anymore. It's a thing I do every day and I put a lot of time into and hours. Right. And so I got a hold of you. Hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I have the YouTube channel. Yes, I know who you are, this, that, and the other. And then I did the same thing with Ron Murphy. And then then you've been on maybe 5 or 6 times at least now since I've started,
Something like that.
so which is awesome. So yeah, just kind of grew from there. And but you're right though. We have a great family atmosphere. We're separate yet all one package. I
Right.
think you explain that perfectly with the NASCAR and even the Ford and Lincoln and this, that, and the other with the auto business.
Everybody has their own channel. They're trying to build it. And it's like getting in touch with your family that you don't even know you have family. And it's true. It's like everybody is freaking wonderful. I mean, there are people like, you meet people online,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
date online.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't physically met all of them yet, but I will. And we're going to show that in the 2 seconds. And then we're going to get into some of the older stories. But everybody's awesome. I mean, beyond belief, they have their disciplines, like,
Yeah.
certain people are Bigfoot people. The other people are paranormal based. Some are UFOs. Some are
Yeah.
magic and whatever. Some are just experiences and love of the collection of the stories.
Yes.
But because of this friendship and this big circle, they are able to, and I'm going to share this screen right now. I'm going to go do it because I can.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sharing it, and I don't like when they came up with this wonderful. We're not going to do the true cryptids just yet. I'm moving that. We're doing this. If we can get it up there, I got to go figure it out. Remove from studio. There it is. This is the Crossing Realms conference that they started, and I'm going to run the video and then we can discuss how this came about.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that is the Crossing Realms conference, and we'll get that out of the screen right there. Remove it. How did this come about? I mean, because it's a big venture.
Yeah. Well,
was this a drunk night?
Was this a drunk night? We always thought, yeah, we all had been done other people's conferences before, and really first Krista, and the blonde Krista's really spearheaded this, got this whole ball of wax starting. I got to give her a ton of credit because she really is,
and she just
big driving force behind it.
Yes,
and her and Brandy, though, they've been doing conferences and putting on conferences for 10 years before I even met them, so they kind of have an idea. And about it all. And so we all got together. So yeah, let's do our own thing that we're going to put on. We're not going to be speakers. We're just going to be the hosts,
Yep.
and just put it on, and we can just kick back, not relax, because we're all going to be working. We're all going to have our hand in something, like I was in like the sales and marketing, helping get guests. Krista got a lot of guests. So, which I have to say, for a bunch of people that aren't really well known, you've seen that list of people. Those are some people that are very good.
That's a lot of good people. Although the image of Ron Murphy looked like he just took I just took a crap.
And then you missed the last one. We added
yeah.
I forgot oh boy. I'm getting old, right?
No.
Mr. Groves, Martin Groves.
Right.
He'll be there as well. So
I'm going to share this while we're there too, as well. And we got Laura in the chat. Thank you so much, Oklahoma Nana. This is on Eventbrite. Go buy your tickets, and it's going to be an awesome conference. You're going to have one of the greatest times of your lives at this conference.
And it is 2 days.
Yep,
19th
2 days
and 20th,
of fun.
and we're doing a live ghost. We're doing a ghost hunt, which is already sold out. You can't even get a ticket. Now there's a tour for it, but that was already sold. Brian, we started marketing this December 1st, and one of the hotels is pretty much booked already around the area.
Yeah, I got to talk to you guys about that, because I have no idea where I'm staying.
Right.
Because I'm coming in. I'll be in Thursday because I want the little get together Thursday, and then so I want to book at the right place so I can just be there.
Yep.
And convenient. But I'll contact both you and this lovely Krista afterwards and find that out. I was thinking about it now. I'm like, I better just get a room or something like that.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a huge conference. And if you think about it, Krista and Brandy.
Yeah, they know a lot of the people.
Ladies, yeah, a lot of people.
And I always have to put a feather in my cap, because I found the Blondes and Booze. I happened on their channel a couple of years ago. You know how we were trying to expand our little network,
right?
And I said, Tex, I found somebody. They're not that big yet. They're going to be good. I watched all their videos when they just started, right?
Yep.
And it was those two, and then made it happen, and they onboarded with us, and then now of course they're on their own, but we're still, as you say, we're all great friends with a great team, but we all have our separate divisions within the firm.
Yeah, it's everybody's an independent, but you come together like family. It's just like life. You may have brothers and sisters in your house, but then once you get married, it's kind of like we have our own little thing going, but we still come back to each other.
Yeah.
And what's great is the bouncing off each other. I mean, I remember I'm a big supporter of people that are putting out a good product, good people. And I remember being like, I'm bored. There's nothing. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't want to, for multiple reasons, a lot of politics involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, it's Saturday night. What am I going to do? And I saw that there was a live investigation taking place at
that was
Valley, Valley Forge, whatever.
Yes.
I said, okay, well, I'll go in there, and it's they're usually good, and everybody on there, I kind of know people, and you just get in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I dialed into that whole place. I was on fire. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. And you're like, here's a link. Come join us.
It was late night with the girls doing that investigation. You were all into it in the chat room, and you're getting all these vibes and feelings.
I was just
you were like chatting faster than I was speaking, or the girls were showing the I said, Joe, here's the link. Just come on board.
I apologize. And
no, it made the show even that much better, because you had a lot of great insight, and we could see your face speaking about it. So it really made it for a fantastic show.
And what was good is I would tell them certain areas where they were trying to find the basement, and I said it's in that other area. This apparently was blocked off, and that's blocked off. But when I started saying things about components of that structure, I've never been there. I've never seen the blueprints of it. I was there, and I said, "Oh, what took place in that room? There was a woman that hung herself." I said, "Was she pregnant?" And some woman says, yes, there was I said, well, yeah, that's why the priest's there. And guess who the father,
Yeah.
and when Paul, just before he put on the God helmet for the first time, I told him what's going to happen. And I said, before you do this, breathe in a couple of times, because I knew it was going to happen. And that's where his father and grandfather came in. And I was dialed in, and I didn't intend to be dialed in. And it was just validation back, which was kind of cool. So,
No, it was.
this is what they do. This is the product that BMR, Rob puts out, Krista, Brandy, Paul, all of them.
Yeah, we've expanded. We're more variety of everything because we're into everything. As you well know, it's all connected. It's all related, in my humble opinion. And so, and we do work at it. So it's thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, come buy tickets. I mean, come stop by, see everybody. You get to meet people. You get to meet some, hear people do their presentations, and I'm doing one. And as I promised, I'm giving out free hugs, unlike Ron Murphy, who is, he may be joining me, but it's going to be fun. Get involved in it. You're with people that are technically professionals in this, and there are not many people that know what they're doing that are involved in the paranormal and cryptids and all that stuff. And they dabble in it because they saw something on YouTube or saw somebody else's show. And I'm like, you're going to get in trouble if you go with certain people. But with this group, come down. I mean, you're gonna have a blast. It's going to be a great event. September 19th and 20th, right?
Yes, that's correct. No. Richmond, Missouri. Again, tickets are
Richmond, Missouri, and I'm really looking forward to this. But before all this stuff happened, what was your first experience paranormal wise?
Geez, I can go all the way back to 5-6 years old.
Really?
Yeah. My life didn't start with Bigfoot. It started as a young boy.
Right.
5 or 6 years old, I was seeing ghosts in my bedroom. Now, of course, as a young kid, I didn't know what it was, quite frankly. I just remember waking up and seeing this ghost on the far back wall, and it was all it was a white ghost, a humanoid white ghost with deep dark black eyes, and it just kind of bounced about the room. And I'll be honest with you, people laugh at me, but it kind of reminded me of the ghost you would see in Scooby-Doo, because I remember watching Scooby-Doo as a kid, but I never was frightened at it. It was a fun time, right? So, the Shaggy Mobile, all the ghosts.
Yes, I'll have my mystery machine.
Yes, the mystery machine. Yes, but I was wide awake seeing this, so it scared me. So I would run into my mom and dad's bedroom crying, Mommy, Daddy, there's a ghost in my bedroom. Oh, Robbie, no, there's not. You're having a bad dream, a nightmare, whatever. So, okay, they calm me down. I end up spending the night with them, as we all do as little kids, till the morning. So a week later, same thing. Again, I burst in Mom and Dad's room. They're like, oh boy, no. Just calm me down again. And really quickly, though, isn't that the parents? That seems like that's their number one job, is always tell the kid that they're having a nightmare.
Yeah,
I find out.
Bad dream. Go to sleep.
Yeah, and later in life, as you really start to explore these things, we weren't dreaming at all.
No, it depends on the parent, right? Like, so my kids had that same thing, and I didn't say, "Oh, you're having a bad dream." I mean, I knew what was going on because I could see certain things, so I knew that ability goes generation.
Yep.
And I wasn't gonna, I'm there to help them.
Yeah.
So unlike, my father would have been like, "Shut up, go to bed."
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom was nurturing. Then after several instances, my dad's like, "Okay, you're done watching late night TV or whatever," he said. No more spooky stuff for you, young man. But my dad was the one that turned me on to monster movies to begin with. So go figure. Again, I digress. That was a cartoon. So the third time this happens again, about the third or fourth time, I forget. It happened to me a handful of times, and I woke up my brother, and now I'm not really crying because now Brian has gotten to the point that it was so often that it didn't scare me because it didn't harm me because I always ran out of the room,
Right.
not giving enough time to do anything devious. That's what I'm maybe thinking as a young kid. I don't know. So I wake up my brother, and this thing, no kidding, Brian, it's bouncing up around back walls, right? Kind of moving
Yep.
around. Dave, wake up, wake up. I got to show you something. My brother wakes up. I go, look, pointing in the corner, back wall area. Do you see that? Do you see that? And I'm awake, fully awake. My brother looks. I don't see nothing. Now, of course, my brother's like 2 years younger than me. And you got to remember, I'm maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Right. So he's,
I
yeah.
said, it's a ghost. Of course, he starts bawling, crying, despite not even seeing it. So I start to cry. Now, mom and dad not have one, but 2 kids in their bed crying. And yeah, so, and I believe to this day I wasn't dreaming because I know that I saw what I saw, even as a young kid, despite watching, cartoons with ghosts. And later on, I got in, my dad turned us on to Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney,
Yep.
Boris
Carl
Karloff.
Polachek.
Yes, all the black and whites that back in the
Yep.
day. And so it was like, yeah, this is really happening, I think. And then I gotta tell you something. Then I got so many stories. You just pick this little topic here. I'm gonna fast forward to the age 26.
Sure. Go for it.
So I'm a kid, as I said, with this ghost. Now, 26 years old, I'm married. I'm about a year into the marriage. Me and the wife are in bed and I'm hanging out, and I happen to wake up and I look in the bedroom. There's an identical ghost from my childhood floating and bantering
Really?
around the room. Yes, the same one.
It's old
And
man
all of a
Witherspoon
sudden,
from the White House.
yeah, and I'm taken back to childhood.
Yep.
And I just don't know what to even think at this point. So I wake up the wife, get your ass up. She's get up. Gets up. What? I said, look, what do you see over there? She looks, she goes, you're crazy. I don't see nothing. I'm going back to bed.
It's the worst.
Yeah, you're
That is the
crazy. I'm
worst.
going back to bed. Like
Yeah.
I was pulling a trick on her 3:00 in the morning. Work the next
Yep.
day in 5 hours. Yeah, I'm waking you up. So that happened one other time in that house, and never again for whatever the reason. And yeah, and so I don't know what.
Going through all this stuff that you've gone through for all
Yeah.
these years now, looking back on that ghost that appeared when you were married, do you think it was some kind of spirit that was able to know what you've been what scared you early on and pick that out purposely to try to get you into fear mode again? Kind of like a mimic?
It's kind of a great point. I thought that this thing follow me. Now, I don't have any experience in this field like I do today, right? So, but I did have that inclination. Does this thing follow me as a kid? Has it always been with me is what I wondered.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize it. And then I started having all these thoughts. Maybe it's a guardian angel of some sort in some sort of weird shape. Because it wasn't scary. Hey, I don't care what you see in the middle of the night if it's not supposed to be there and transparent. You're going to be a little freaked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're gonna be told, but I didn't even think, I wasn't even going with the guardian angel angle, but it could have been a family member or a relative coming back to you.
Yeah.
But
I never experienced any death early on. I mean, the only person in my family has died outside of grandparents was my father. So people really close to me that I loved. I had some cousins, but I wasn't close to them. But people that I really loved with all my heart and soul, it was my father. He was the first one that I ever experienced that total tragic grief.
Oh yeah.
When this is about 7 years ago now. May 7th will be his birthday, and he'd be 80 years old. this upcoming May?
I know the date because I always call him my first kid, but my bull terrier's birthday was May 7th, and I lost him when he just turned literally like by the time he was 6 old, 6 years old, he was. But I've never. This is something I've always wanted and loved to death, and connection to my father because he liked the dogs and whatever. But that's why the date just hit me. Does your dad come back to you?
I think he has. Yeah, great question. So when my dad passed on, yeah, it was very sad. So, anyways, a couple of years go by, and then I'm like, I got kind of depressed on the day of his birthday, and I was just sitting out in the yard, and I was playing all of his oldies. He was a big '50s genre. He loved the
Yep.
'50s. So I'm out back, playing his music and getting a little sad, having a couple beers, and I just started saying, Dad, how come, where are you? I wonder. Hopefully you made it to heaven. This day I'm talking to him in my yard. And I asked him, how come you never showed yourself to me? Kind of a weird question, thing to come up with, I think. But Dad, people always seem to see their parents or their grandparents. How come you haven't showed yourself? I just want to know you're okay. Had a conversation with my dad in the middle backyard. Neighbors probably thought I was crazy. But nothing came to fruition, and I kind of another year goes by, and then all of a sudden, so right after my dad's passing, I would take care of their house with my mom, who I eventually later on down the road moved my mom in with me because she was just so upset. Now she lives with me. But my mom and dad's my home that I grew up in with my parents. My dad always posted. He was a veteran, and he always posted the American flag. Right? Always. My mom said, Rob, every year can you come up, put up the flag, and take down the flag? Memorial weekend or Labor Day weekend, put it up, take it down. I'm like, yeah, sure, Ma. So I had been doing this for a long time for my mom. And this flag post, my dad was a machine repairman, and he was very good at making things, creating gadgets to fix things. He didn't go to Home Depot or the hardware store. He made it himself at work, right? So he fashioned this pin, and it's a very small pin to place into the flagpole to keep the flag erect. And I often wondered, how in hell does this little pin do the job that it does for this, 20-pound apparatus? Whatever, Dad, he's cool, knows what he's doing. So we used that. It was a stopgap for something, I guess. I'm not that technically inclined. So been doing this for all these years. So on the top of the porch, it was a nice big porch, maybe 8 foot wide, 7 foot tall. It's very high, and the flag goes up outside of the porch. And on top of in front of the porch, there's all this shrubbery, very dense. On top of the fact, the top of the porch top was like rock, a lot of grooves and crevices. So good old Rob has got this pin putting up the flag one day, and I dropped it. Oh boy. Oh boy. You can't find it. It's microscopic. I'm in back of this shrubbery, and on top of the shrubbery, there was mulch back there. And I'm like on my hands and getting all cut up, scraped up, looking for this pin. I'm frantic. My mom's going to be so upset, and I'm upset, Of course, the top of the porch, yeah, I mean, all the grooves, it's so hard to find. So literally, Brian, 2 hours goes by or whatever. I had to tell my mom what happened. I said, well, I'm going to go up to the hardware, take a picture, and show him, hey, can you help me with this? I have no idea what my dad did. So I did. Of course, nobody can help. No, you're out of luck. Buy a new flag, buddy. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
They didn't say about the significance of this dumb flag. So
my mom's gonna kill me now, but thanks.
Yeah. So I'm kind of dejected. I get home, give my mom the bad news, say, Ma, life goes on. We got to do something different. We'll get a flag up for you. So it's kind of depressing. So I go sitting in a room at my dad's house, mom and dad's. And much like I did in my backyard a year prior, talking to my dad, on his birthday, I said, Dad, you've never answered me. I need some help here. Ma's going crazy over your flag. And I'm yelling at him, why did you come up with that stupid concoction to put it together? Unbelievably bad idea, Dad. So I go run out there half hour later, getting ready to go home. I tell my mom, well, I'll figure something out. So I get home. I don't get home, excuse me. Before I go home, I go up on the porch. And I tell you, when I say I spent 3 hours looking on the porch and on the ground, I did. With a fine tooth comb. And I'm standing up and I look down, I see this little glimmer of light on top of the porch. As sure as I kid you not, that piece is sitting right there. Now, I picked it up, I put it in, the flagpole is still currently up. It works. I think so. To answer your question in a roundabout way, yeah, I think I did talk to him somehow. I had a communication.
It's interesting because my dad's gone, and I really needed his help. A bunch of weeks ago.
Okay.
I was in a bad place, and I was like, I'm sitting out back, and I'm like, just said, Dad, I really, I could really use your help. I was thinking of him, and he would, not that he was the expert or anything, but it's just what a parent does. They give you a little bit more confidence, like you can do it, or they tell you something that enables you to kind of move on and understand. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, kind of bummed out, like I wish you were here. I miss you. And I start smelling cigars.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will tell you, I smoke cigarettes. I do smoke cigars, not often.
Yeah.
But no one's smoked a cigar in forever. It's outside, and my neighbor on either side of me do not smoke whatsoever. And I knew without a doubt in my mind that was my dad.
Yeah.
And just that fragrance, just like, that glint, it kind of is the same thing as like, come here and give you a hug. And that's how I looked at it,
Yeah, I hear you. That's a cool story as
yes,
well.
that's Nana. Men need loved ones too. Yes. Men get pushed back like a Nana who takes care of everyone. We can't cry. We're supposed to be strong. Not true. Yeah, let me tell you something. I talked about this beforehand, and I don't know how versed you are on it. I mean, I think some of the ladies are, like Kristen Brandy, maybe a little bit more versed on it. But in astrology, everybody's heard of Mercury retrograde. It's when Mercury seems like it's going backwards, and that's when all this chaos happens.
Okay.
That started pretty much at beginning of March for a bit, and a little bit further than that. And if I tell you that it's been a tough month and crap's, I'm like, it was, when you get that and you understand Mercury retrograde, you're like, yeah, full force, it's in play. And then someone said, oh, but you got to be careful about Venus retrograde. I'm like, what? Like,
what's that?
I've never really heard of that.
An opposing force to the
Well, it's the same principle. So what happens is Venus is the morning star, and it's in the sky. When it goes retrograde, it goes backwards, so it kind of goes out of view. But it's what Venus governs, and it's emotions and love and coming together. So if you're doing contracts, if you're asking somebody on a date, or you're having something to do with someone that you're interested in, or your wife or whatever, it can go awry big time.
Okay.
And, and that's literally truly what has been happening, not just for me, but I'll do it. A plethora.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. A plethora of people are having the exact same things happening at the same time.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And so although people just think astrology is reading your horoscope, is a lot more to it. I mean, you're going to find out later on. This is why a lot of the great, we'll call them the masters, used astrology in mapping out situations. We technically use astrology in military offensives or defensives. We wait until the moon is dark so that we can come in and do some military based stuff. That is part of astrology. There's reasons behind it. You're better to do it when Venus is in a certain spot, and I don't know the full details of it. Like when you're giving birth to the nation was done when Venus was at a certain degree and in conjunction with some others, because that offered most favorable outcomes over time. So I just heard this stuff and I'm like, this is, like, oh my God, this is it. There's an explanation to all of this. My dad never believed in any of this stuff. Like I would tell him things. He thought I was crazy because I did a lot of paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Most dads are like if your dad was into like Dion and 50s music and
Yeah. Right.
Actually my other half's one of her good friends, her uncle is one of her good friends uncle is Ernie Moresco.
Okay.
And you're like, who's Ernie Moresco?
Right.
You ever hear Runner Down Sue?
Oh yeah.
He wrote it.
All the time.
He wrote it.
Okay.
He wrote all those songs for Dion. He wrote all the 50 songs. He lived in my neighborhood in New York City. That's big.
Yeah.
For somebody that I've met another person I became friendly with because our kids go to school, and really great guy. His name's Kobe, and when we got into his apartment, he's got a platinum and a gold disc on his wall, and I'm like,
Wow.
so he was one of the members of a band. There's a song, I Can't Stand It. It's like a jazzy song, and I don't remember, Us Three, I think it's called. And they got a gold platinum album, and he's just Kobe to them. He does a lot of voiceover work now, but it's like it's really weird who you meet throughout life. And when you're doing this stuff too, like when you're doing paranormal stuff, you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know you would, you would have had that experience. Like,
it's fascinating. Not only the first of all, meeting the people is fascinating, and doing these conferences is fascinating. Getting all these different people from all walks of life. But even when you're doing a show, I'm not going to talk about my show last night. Eddie, I got Eddie who's out last night. Eddie Johnson. His
Yep.
great grandfather was Robert Johnson. Went to the crossroads, made a deal with the devil. So he told that whole story from what he remembers and being told to him through his elders, right?
Right.
But then I find out more about Eddie on the show that he worked with Eric Clapton. He was a sessions player. Eddie was a sessions player. Yes. He worked with Eric Clapton and Peter Frampton. And one other notable, right? And so the things you learn from people just in every day having a basic show is fascinating people. So that show was pretty cool last night. But just to your point, and now we're talking about music, right? I mean, it's like there's so many.
I didn't mean to switch you up on it, but
no, but that's fine. That's how we roll. You know that.
It's just a free flowing conversation, folks.
Yeah, but yes, the people you meet, there's fascinating stories, and to meet people that you didn't think you'd meet, the great grandson of like the legendary Robert Johnson. And I met him last night.
No, I was telling you, when I did a show a bunch of years ago. I stopped doing shows. I used to do a show called Nobo Boomy, and I had one of my friends who I've known since I'm 5, who's probably one of the most amazing guitar players I've ever met, heard in my life. And we have a mutual friend. I didn't know that my friend in the paranormal, his name's Stevie Strings. And if you want somebody great, get Stevie Strings on your show. He's a cryptid researcher, but he has a movie company. And I'd love to get him on a variety of people that are actually in the chat right now shows, because he's rock solid. Okay. And he's a hell of a guitar player. Those two, it was weird. I said, those two didn't know each other. My friend David and Stevie didn't technically know each other, but they had a universal friend because they both did tour stuff. Dave did the he was with the Outlaws for a while. He told Johnny Winter he had bunny eyes.
Wow. Jesus.
But yeah, Johnny Winter talks in third party.
Yeah.
Johnny likes the way you play. Johnny thinks you play too fast. So Dave's like ripping up the neck. And Dave was one of those guys, and he's like, "Shut up, bunny eyes," But they have a mutual friend who I actually talked to last night. His name's Hyatt Finley. He knows all these guys, all these. He was the road manager, Faith Hill and Tim McGraw.
Oh wow!
He got hurt when their stage collapsed, I think during a tornado. But Stevie's into the cryptid stuff. So there's your two connections, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen to the music. Went down to the crossroads, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's all went down to the crossroads. Robert Johnson.
Yep.
They're talking about selling their soul to the devil.
Right.
Like, you can't get more paranormal than that crap, right?
No, you cannot. And I always found that to be interesting. I've always liked the paranormal. I did well before the cryptids until I came across one, right? And
we're gonna get to that right now too.
Yeah, we can get into that if you like. But everything's tied together, man. And then and then you can. I mean, we're probably gonna have to do a part 2 on this. There's so much we can talk about.
Yeah, well,
down the road. Once we get through this,
no, not a problem. Because what I also want to do before you get into what you're talking about, I'd love to do a show and get you, Krista, and everybody involved in the Crossing Realms and starting it together, so you can do a promo and say everybody can speak their piece, and I think that would be a great time. Maybe where I could host it. I'll be the MC.
Sure.
And then everybody streams to their own respective channel, so it's all being broadcast. And we just promote everything with the greatness, because I know a lot of these people, like I know of a lot of these people, but I'm not, in constant communication with them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, me too. I mean, I know a handful. I met a handful, and there's a handful I know of, but again, great opportunity to meet more people.
Oh, yeah. And then connecting and networking. But continue on about Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. So I'll tell my Bigfoot encounter. It's always what got me really motivated. It's what set up my channel and books and stuff. It was just set me on my path. It was like 2018, June 15th. I was dating this girl, Cindy, and I said, "Hey, listen, I got a surprise for you. I rented this cabin. I rented this cabin, and I got a little fishing boat. We're going to go do some fishing at Lake Cadillac in Wexford County, in the Manistee National Forest." What? She said, what? We're doing what now? I go, "Don't worry. I want to do some fishing. I'm taking you. You're coming. And yes, don't worry. There's shops, restaurants. There's a whole lot of things you can do. Yeah. But I'm taking you with me fishing because we've never done this together." Oh, how do you put it that way? Fine. Okay. So pack our gear, get ready. We get up there whenever it was. It was June 15th. It was the date, actually. I'll never forget the date. And 2018. So get up to the cabin, this, that, and the other, get unwound. I said, "Okay, tomorrow morning, bright and early, we're going to get up and go fishing." She goes, "What time?" I said, 6 in the morning. And she gave me that look like, in one of these, right? Not. Yeah, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, it was 10 in the morning when we got on the lake, which was before 12 at least. So we're out on the lake, and middle of the week, I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday, not a holiday, not a lot of people on the lake. Lake Cadillac's pretty big. It's got a lot of homes built up around there already, a lot of small industry and mom and pop shops. So very pretty, very quaint. And again, with the Manistee National Forest is just right there, all about the lake. So we're about an hour into it. We're not catching any fish. She's getting bored, I can tell. So I just started exploring on this little skiff, which is pretty much maybe a 2 or 3 person boat, not very tall out of the water either. Something, my buddy could have got me a bigger boat. Not to quote Roy Scheider, but
we're going to get a bigger boat. I knew you're going there.
Yeah. So my favorite movie, by the way. So anyway, we start traversing about the lake. We get to this canal, and it leads to another lake called Lake Mitchell, which is connected through the canal. Again, nice sizable lake, backdrop, beautiful backdrop, even more exquisite than where we're on because there's less houses. There are houses, don't get me wrong, in a little park, but it's really all right, pretty cool. You can see the depth of the wilderness, as they say. So we got to maybe I guess we're traveling. Yeah, we're traveling south on the boat. If you look on the map, we start going south toward the corner. And I have to remind everybody, and I always tell the story the same way 99% of the time because I just know it so well. But I I always make a point to tell everybody the day was beautiful. It was a bright blue. The sky was beautiful blue, sunny, orange sun. The backdrop of the forest, lush green, this, that, and the other. And that's always important to tell people as this goes on.
Yep.
So we're about 90 feet out from the shoreline, and I'm putting some new tackle together, and Cindy's kind of out looking, and she says that she thought somebody was throwing rocks at the boat. I hear nothing. I look up. I said, well, there's nobody out there. It's just the forest line. Boom, it drops right into the water. Well,
Yeah.
okay. Second time, she's more emphatic about it. Yeah, Rob, I just seen a rock, small pebble rock, and I kind of heard something, but I'm like, look, there's probably some fish jumping around. Cool, cool. We're maybe we're going to catch something. I blow it off, right? And I
Yeah,
look,
no,
nobody there, Brian. So I'm back. I said, let me put the tackle together, and I'll look out with you. So for whatever the apparent reason is, and we're drifting still down the shoreline. And then, for whatever the reason, I just happen to look up in this bright blue sky, and there's an object certainly falling from the sky. And this object's about the size of a baseball. It lands maybe 4 feet right kerplunk right in front of the boat. I'm like, wow. So I turn to my right to tell Cindy, well, I'm sorry, somebody's launching rocks at us. And she's standing on this skiff. It's important to note that June 15th, she was a sun goddess worshiper. Head to toe, beautiful tan already for the 15th of June, right?
wow.
But now I see her skin, it's pale. It's off. It's not looking like her normal. It's looking white. What the hell's she looking at? I looked at the shore and they're standing there. There's an opening where we're now drifting down. There's an opening and there's this creature standing there, Brian, 9 foot tall, 8 foot, 9 foot tall, long, beautiful reddish brown hair, draped this humanoid, as I say, and kind of about 3.5, 4 foot wide, just robust. And I'm drifting a little closer and I can see some better details. The chest, though, was gray, and it had this face of a human, almost human like, but a very sick human. Like maybe it had a stroke, or something happened, kind of a deformity. It was like a gray grizzle face, 2 eyes offset. One was lower than the other. The one side of the face
Really?
kind of drooped, and it's just kind of standing there looking kind of docile for the moment. And I can't process this. I'm like, whoa, what are we looking at here?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, then this creature, just whatever you want to call it, I always say whatever you want to call it. I call it my Bigfoot encounter, but still to this day, I have some doubts a little bit, right? Or what it was totally. But it rolls back its shoulders and the head kind of drops down, and that grayish face, that human looking face, it gets all taut. It gets purple black color. The eyes roll back black where you can barely see them. It opens, the jaw distends downward, exposing a set of teeth up top and on the bottom. And it roars, screams, yells all in unison. And I can feel the vibration, the vibrato
Yep.
roll across the lake. It hits me. I can feel it like a sonic blast. It hits Cindy as well. Well, Cindy, all 5'1", 109 pounds, flips off the boat into the water. Now my problems just get even worse because now, I got to go get her. Now, the reason I gave you the description of the day is because now these colors are all faded. It was almost like my vision was looking through a filter. it was a very grainy black and white coloring of the sky, the boat, the water, the forest, everything is all out of whack. And as I'm trying to move to get Cindy, I can't move. I'm paralyzed. Yeah, no, man, I tried to snag her. Trust me. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
move, though.
yeah.
Cannot move. Paralyzed. And I'm saying, I got to get here. Now, this, whatever this is, now less than probably 90 feet as I'm drifting all over hell. So I'm trying to shake my head, Rob, snap out of it, snap out of it. You got to be able to move. I snap out of it. Then the colors come back. I have my cognizance back. Get her into the boat. Get her in. Now I immediately look to the shoreline. Now I'm even a little more scared. Where's this creature's gone? I don't know where it's at. Is it swimming? Is it underwater? Is it going to get us? I don't know. Spun the boat around and raced across Lake Mitchell through the canal to Cadillac. Get up, dock the boat, get her out of the boat. Immediately walk to find some place to kind of sit down. We're a little too far from the cabin, so we went in town, found this little bar. And we get in there. Maybe it's around 12:30. It was, again, not very crowded for middle of the week, work week, not a holiday. And toward the right, there's a person on the end of the bar, a guy and a girl, I think it was, or a man. And then to the left, there was pretty much an open seating area in the back. So we pulled up to this a booth in the back left corner. We sit down across from each other. We're still not saying anything to each other. The waitress comes up and asks Cindy, "What you having?" Now, mind you, Cindy, not a drinker. I'm a bar owner.
Wasn't a drinker up until that point, but
yes.
keep going.
Yes, no, not up until that point. Oh, by the way, this is something important I got to tell her. And her mother did not like me because of the fact I owned a bar. By the way, I was the devil incarnate. Just I got to let you guys know that. Cindy goes, "I'll have a bottle of Budweiser and a shot of Jack Daniels." And I'm like, "Whoa, yeah." Mm-hmm. Waitress turns to me, of course, and I said, "I'll have what she's having. Make mine a double."
Yeah.
So again, we're still not saying nothing to each other. We're kind of looking at each other, and we're still trying to ponder because I'm trying to figure out, process what I've seen. How come I was paralyzed? How come I saw like crazy colors? Waitress comes up, puts the shot glass to beer in front of Cindy, does the same to me. Cindy takes that shot of Jack. She throws it back like she'd been drinking 20 years. No kidding. Threw it down. Nice. No face, no grimace, nothing. Guzzles the bottle of Bud halfway down, lets out a belch. I don't know if she did. I just threw that in there. And I do the same. I gun my shot at the beer. She says, "Honey, what do you think that was?" And I'm like, I throw the question back at her because I don't know. I go, "Honey, I don't know. What do you think that was?" "Robbie, I think it was that Bigfoot creature." And it was funny because she and I never spoke ever about Bigfoot or the paranormal ever in our life. And
Really?
no, we never did. We never talked about it. Now, growing up, I saw Leonard Nimoy. I saw Patterson Gimlin. I knew about Bigfoot. I, being always open-minded, especially with my prior ghost encounters, and I had more than just the two I told you earlier. That's why I have to do another show. I remember, I said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know, honey. Maybe. I think you might be right. Maybe it was that Bigfoot creature." Then she says, "Should we call the DNR? Sheriff, the police?" I said, "Honey, that's a big no." Yeah, I don't want to repeat this.
Nah, that's not going to happen. I got a liquor license. I need.
Yeah. How much have you had to drink, and do you travel how many miles?
Yeah.
So we kind of we kind of ended the vacation because we were just too,
That's an
stunned.
experience.
So anyway, yeah, it was quite an experience. I'll never forget it. So driving home, then we got immersed into Bigfoot. I never knew YouTube had podcasts, Brian. I use YouTube to watch music, live music from the old
Same here.
60s, 70s, man. I had to pipe through my speakers, blasted it, watch cool concerts. Went online, and nothing came up that really satisfied either her or I. Nothing came close to what I'd seen. Then I found a couple podcasts, which they weren't very good. I mean, I didn't find any of the good ones till later on, but they were just, well, this is doing nothing
Yeah.
for me. So
Right.
the saddest part about this thing is, as I mentioned, the mom hated me and we didn't live together. She lived with her mom. And
Right.
her mom calls me. I said, what does she call me for? Well, Cindy passed away that morning. I'm telling
What?
yeah. You know this part of my story?
No.
You never heard as long as I've known you. So
No, I've never heard I've literally never heard how your first encounter.
okay, so well, yeah, so it's all new to you then. So Cindy's mom calls me. It's in the morning. She goes, Rob, I just want to tell you, Cindy passed away. I go, what are you what? And I'm like, what are you talking about? How? Oh, I think she had a heart attack, this, that, or the other. I said, this is something wrong. Who is this? Is this a prank, bad
Right.
joke? It was her. By the way, you're not allowed at the funeral, this, that, and the other. You're never wanted around here ever. So I just wanted to give you that news. Thank you very much. Hung up the phone on me.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I went I found out when that funeral was, and I went and I got thrown out by her two bigger brothers who could have literally beat my ass. So it was not a good scene there.
Right.
So, and then not being a married to her or anything, I don't have access to how she really died. To this day, I don't. Come on, she never drinks, she never smokes. She's in pretty good health, as far as I know. So what I did was my focus went to the creature that we just seen 2 months ago. Then I started putting things together, like when we got hit with whatever that vibration was, and how I lost vision and the coloring. I said maybe it messed up her organs or something. So I blamed it on my experience for the longest time, right?
Right.
So when people ask me about when people say to me that Bigfoot's a friendly forest giant, I said I beg to differ. I'm sorry for people that think they're the forest giant. Today, my attitude has changed. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Bigfoot or anything, because now, that was in 2020. This is 2025. My views and viewpoints have certainly changed. I don't think it's responsible, but I thought it was a demon because of that metamorphosis, And then, but anyways, following you back, I went to a dark place. As you know, I owned the bar at that time as well. And I talked to my bar manager and I said, hey, man, I can't get into it right now. I got a bunch of things to figure out. When I come back to work, I'll come back to work. Just put the money in the bank. I know you won't rip me off. I've been with you as long as I've been here. Okay, Rob, boy, what's up? I can't get into it, but I trust you. I'll see you when I see you. Take care of everything.
Yep.
I didn't go back to work for like 6 weeks, man.
That would be difficult for me to go back at that point.
And I'm trying to find people to help me. A lot of people said, hey, you get the typical, you're full of crap,
Yep.
looked at you weird, judged me.
You smoking.
Yeah, you're a bar owner, or you're probably drunk all the time. All this stupid, just really
I
degraded
don't
me.
understand.
It just really sucked, man. And then when I West Shermer's show for the first time, because somebody suggested you got to talk this through. But first thing was first, so I met Carrie Arnold. You know Carrie?
I know Carrie.
Heard of? Because I finally come across a YouTube video. It was Carrie Arnold's original encounter out in the woods when he had his very first, when he just started out in YouTube and right being a documentarian. I said I can relate to this guy. This is kind of same but different than mine, and I can feel his vibe over the TV. And the guy leaves his phone number in the description to call him. I get on the phone, I call him. He answers. He goes, hey, I introduced myself. We had about a 3-hour chat. Rob, you're not going crazy. I totally believe you, man. That's the type of guy he was. A stranger.
Yeah.
3 hours, first time ever talking on the phone. Made me feel really good. He said, man, you should probably voice this. If it helps, he goes, I held it in for so long. He said 20 years he held his in before he went back in the woods, right? And So I kind of took his advice. I went to Sasquatch Chronicles. I called up and they took my story and I did that. And that was a tough one. I did my own little video. And it's funny how my channel evolved because I didn't have a channel, but I had to come up with to make a video, just a video, not a channel, just to put it out there on
Right.
the internet. Someone suggested do that and see if people can help you and comment. You're probably gonna get laughed at, but I'll bet you there's some people that will take you serious. So I'm like, oh, how the hell did I go about this? Well, you got to create a handle and a channel, even though you don't have it technically a channel.
Right.
So Bigfoot Mr. Rob evolved because I saw a Bigfoot. My name is Rob. I live in Michigan. Hence, that
There
was
it
the
is.
birth of Bigfoot Michigan Rob right there. You know, and I never knew it was going to turn into a podcast 4 years later.
No,
Or
but
a year or two later, right? I've been doing this 4 years almost.
yeah,
And
this is
that's crazy, man.
no, this is. I mean, my personal opinion, and a lot of people can go into Al, Santariga and Keith 19 from 1675. Good year. Um, you know, I've gotten hit from infrasound. My buddy Al has, and Keith has got zapped from a dog man. They do infrasounds. There are certain dogs that actually can emit infrasound too. Labradors,
Oh wow, okay.
they admit it, and some of the other more protective breeds will do it too. That gives a little bit more of the fear. It's not just the fact that you're seeing this 175-pound Rottweiler's head at you.
Yeah.
But it's different for each individual, and infrasound can cause major damage to you internally.
Mm.
It's kind of like what they call the Havana syndrome right now, and they were using microwaves to create it, but it's basically an infrasound level, and people are getting getting brain damage from it. So if you got hit by this, I want to use a word that we used growing up in the in the 80s, but I can't use it. It begins with an R. If you had this whatever creature there and it's using it, and I mean, I was kind of smiling because when the rocks start going,
Yeah.
and the pebbles, that's usually a sign, depending on who you are, you need to go away now.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
That's like boom. And when the bigger one came, like the size of the
It was
softball,
like,
it was like,
we
listen, dude.
We mean business. I mean
Yeah.
business, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yes. So Bacon is Love with Cisco's show, Journey Through the Gate, Paranormal Portal podcast. I think I said that right. Thank you, Cisco, my sister. But the fact that you froze, because if it plays on your nervous system or it plays in a sub, like in your ears and stuff, and you can kind of freeze from the infrasound.
Yeah.
And kind of get like disoriented. Her falling in did not help. This is just like this. I knew you had an encounter, but I never heard the encounter.
Oh
So
wow. Well, yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
this is
I
a first
thought
for
you
me. I'm
heard
no
it.
longer a BMR virgin on this end.
No, you're introduced. I thought millions of people
But-
heard it. I tell it
No.
so many times. But yeah, but
This is
but
great. I mean, not great for what happened. Hey Jojo,
Yeah.
what happened to her and you? But have you ever? Yeah, I mean, you deal with a lot of psychics and mediums and
yeah.
people. I do things too, but have you ever had someone try to reach out to her and say, "What was it?"
Me personally, can touch
Yeah.
one.
Like get a quality
Well, I
person
don't know
who's-
that mine were quality. A couple of my friends, the ones in the chat, I never reached out to his person or her
Right.
person. I'm not going to give out the person, which I never reached out to. I had a couple other ones in my pocket that I got a hold of, and two there's actually another instance too that I should talk about. while
Sure.
we're on it.
Go.
I had Robin McCrae on my show a couple of years ago, who claims to have mind speak and such with cryptids,
Right.
Bigfoot and such. She lives in Michigan and South Carolina, so I like her. I think she's a very nice person. Has seen a lot. She's got a lot of actual pretty cool captures too. I think she's reputable. I didn't really know that she was as far as a psychic, or she with her this mind speak, because she was on my show. Actually, she was on twice. First time on Brunch with Bigfoot Mr. Rob when I first started. And then I launched Beyond BMR, and she was my very first guest that I launched that 2 years ago. So I had her on. And I've got to tell you, I know she knew about my Bigfoot encounter. Most people have, apparently, except for Bryan, but
I wasn't aware of it.
that's okay, man. I don't feel bad. So that's fine. It's fine. I'm glad you didn't hear, because now I feel that, oh, cool. Reach out to somebody else. So we're going through. So I'm interviewing her on the show, like I always do, and I'm asking all these varieties of questions. And out of the blue, Robin McCrae says to me, "Denali meant you no harm," and she just kind of flipped. She just said this, totally changing the topic we're discussing. Rob, Denali means you no harm. I'm like, excuse me. Somebody in Alaska, the Alaskan mountains, the
Right.
truck. You know, I'm kind of making a joke. No, the Bigfoot you saw with your girlfriend. And then I'm like, okay. Now, Robin, you do know about my encounter. She goes, yeah, I know about your encounter. Denali is reaching out to me right now to tell you he meant you and Cindy no harm. There were children in the area, and he was just protecting them, but did not. He says, and he goes on to tell her that he wasn't responsible for her death. Okay. And now I'm thinking, Bryan, this person's pulling my leg.
Right.
I really am.
They know the story.
You know the story. They're following through this. Now, I'm like, okay. And so I'm getting a little uncomfortable because I kind of want to call her out a little bit. But I don't have to, because you heard the story. I always tell the story 99% the same.
Right.
Did you hear me mention a red barn at all?
Nope.
The story? You did not. Good. I never mentioned the red barn because it's insignificant to my story. There was also a house, a ranch-style house, 100 yards up the creek in the distance, or up the lake. Excuse me. Insignificant. It was a red barn. So, and she goes, well, he wanted to tell you that he came from around the red barn on the lake. No one knows that, Bryan, except me.
This is and this is where your validation comes from.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this. At that point, you're like, that's one of those like,
yeah,
it's like, holy shit.
Dude, I about fell out of my seat. And I know. I said, wait, did I ever mention this ever? I'm thinking now. I'm second guessing myself. Did I ever say red barn ever? Well, I can tell you, I'll bet $1 million on it. I never once said it ever in my lifetime.
So I knew something about a red barn because I caught something once or twice going through the channels when I was, surfing.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was the point where you said, I've never mentioned this before. And then a red barn. And I knew the term red barn.
Okay.
Did not know the original stories of what happened. Did not know the other end of the story, that this person is basically talking to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
For the most part. I like to call him Bigfoot instead of like Sasquatch, but whatever.
Bigfoot. I roll with Bigfoot.
I beg to have a telepathic type of some kind of communication with them. I think for now, I think they know that I can do what I can do, and they're fine with it. Like, listen, we don't need to chat. Just sit there and look pretty. Kind of like we're not going to be getting that close just yet. I'm going to go from here to there, and you're going to leave, type of thing. But what I love is, and I do this all the time, Rob. Whenever there's a chance to go to a psychic or a card reader or people that say they have the abilities, I'm testing you all the time.
Yeah.
And I sit there because I come from, I come from New York City, streets of New York, Boogie Down, Bronx, wherever it is. and I sit there and I do the card reading. And a lot of times, if you go to like an agricultural festival or an outdoor fair, it's always cheap, like a carnival. It's a $20 reading. You know, at one point it was like $5. I'll read your cards. You got to wow the crap out of me. You got to tell me something there is no way in hell you should know unless you are actually tapping into something.
Yeah.
And of the, plethora. Here we go again.
Yeah, there you go. Another drink. Another drink.
Another drink, everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna come up with that. If I ever use the word plethora, take a drink. Nana, set that up. I would say 80% are not as gifted as they think they are.
Yeah.
But then you get that 20% that tell you something like your great grandfather's name or tells you who's watching over you, and you're like, and it's not a normal name. And you're like, you got my attention. You know,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. We went to a hot air balloon festival down here in Palm Beach, during the winter. Their winter down here is like maybe 74. That's what I told you, Rob, like, come on down. And they had a hot air balloon festival, and they had these psychics there. And I pick up vibes on people to begin with. Didn't like this one person. So I said, I'm going to go to this one. Gave her the money, sat there, didn't show anything. Didn't even show my jewelry. I just cover my watch and everything, because a lot of these people they study body. It's tells. It's just
body
like
language, just like poke. Yeah.
Yep. It's just like poker, and they can tell you when you start, twitching. They're like, "Oh, I'm on something."
Yeah.
Spot on beyond belief. She did a 12 card spread, 4, 4, and 4, and she went through like literally beginning to end my life. And I said, well, are we done? Because I don't want to take up, it was a limited time type of thing. She goes, oh no, I'm not done with you. But then they throw in they want you to come and meditate with me. Yeah, I know you want me to meditate with you. Yeah, sure. I want you to meditate with me.
$50 an hour.
Yeah, 175. Let's go. Yeah. Or I just had another one because there's a great reader on Instagram. So I did a follow-up because I'm trying to get her on the show, and I want her to do live readings for people. She's really, really good at what she does. She was spot on. But the first reading, she goes, and the spirits told me they want you to have more readings with me. Yeah, of course they did. Did the spirits tell you who's going to win the 4th race at Aqueduct? Give me the horses at Belmont, would you? Yeah, they don't tell you that, do they?
No, they don't.
No.
Otherwise, they'd be out of that business and retired in Bermuda.
Yeah. So is this? And I'm gonna try to bring this up image file because I had to get rid of one image to put in another image. So is this in your True Encounters? This is book 1 of 2, by the way.
Yeah, my encounter story I did put in book 1. I did, yes.
Okay, so I mean that's how it started off, and these books are available on Amazon. If you go to Rob's, there are links in the scrolling area there for each book, but it's on Amazon, and if you go there, they're great books. I always thank you very much for providing me one. I always love an autograph book, and I got the autograph. It's better than Ron Yacovetti's autograph. Like, maybe you should lose weight. Best wishes, Ron. I'm only joking. I killed Ron when I said that. I'm like, I like what you said here. How about trying to lose weight?
Oh my gosh.
Really? And he was like, he's the nicest guy in the world. He's like, I never said that. And his girlfriend is just on the floor. And then I'm going to share the other image while we're up there.
Yeah.
This is book 2. And these are even more stories on True Encounters.
And I gotta give a shout out to the art. I love the artwork in those.
I was going to ask you that.
That was by Jason McLean, who will be at our conference as well. He's a good friend of mine, part of our little group, our network, as we say. Jason, fantastic artist. Yeah, and he has his own comic strip series out now. So he's a really talented guy. Yeah. So
pick these up, and if you go to the concert, pick it up at if you go to the conference, not the concert, but it's going to be like a concert, because I saw Tex doing ZZ Top. at
Nah,
something recently.
yeah.
That's gonna be another one.
Yeah.
We're waiting for that open mic night.
Oh,
You
gosh,
can
yeah.
pick up the books. Rob, you're gonna have the books there.
I'll have the books at the conference.
Right.
And I'll
And
have
then,
them
you know,
online. Well, I will tell everybody. I mean, if you look it up, they're online. They're $14.99 a
yep,
piece, and
there
then
it is.
I.
Rob's
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
JoJo are well priced too. They are very well priced.
yeah,
But what I love is I love when you get to meet the author
yes,
and well, I get a chance to meet and talk to the authors because they're
yeah,
friends of
dude.
mine and I appreciate it. But I always offer like, hey, let me pay the shipping or let me do
Yeah,
this or whatever. So that's not a
yeah,
problem. But it's something to be said to have something personalized, like, be
yeah.
careful with your raft.
And we're
Don't
still
keep the
working
girl
on
on.
those damn bandanas, Brian. I gotta tell you,
I sent it to you
I know
though.
I lost it.
I'll
I
send it to you again.
thank you. Yeah,
And it was great because they said, you know what, we don't have to do too many, and it's rainbow colors, and we'll just do the same thing on
yeah,
all of them, and it'll be fine.
yeah. Because I like to get those. I gotta. We'll talk later. But yeah, I people want my
And it was
books,
priced
or
really
they.
well.
I have a store. I got to redo my store in Teespring. If people want to check it out, check it out. I'm not marketing my wares. I'm really not. I got stuff on there, yes, but the things that people want outside of the book is they want BMR bandanas. They want my logo and bandana, which I still don't even have for myself yet, and it's only
Oh,
been going on 4 years.
I'll talk to you tomorrow or the next day, and I'll tell you because you'll get them and you'll see them, and you're like, okay, cool. And I'm just, it's not, they're different colors,
Yeah,
and it's going to have like the graphic of you as wearing the
yeah,
bandana,
yeah,
and then it's going to say BMR Bigfoot Michigan Rob,
yeah,
and it's going to offset like a
yeah.
step and repeat.
Like the Paisleys on all their. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like a step and repeat, and the BMR, your mug is going to be
Yeah,
bigger, and
yeah,
then you're able to fold it up, wrap it up, and then there it is.
cool. Yeah, I'll
And
check
what's
it out.
cool is if he has them, and I'll just ship them right to you. I mean, I want to do this. If you're interested, let's do it sooner because all the tariffs.
Well, yeah, well, yeah. Well, I'll let you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take a look over it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
Yep.
I'll let
And
you know.
Nana is throwing a link up right now. But if you look up Rob's real name,
Yeah.
not BMR, but if you look up BMR, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, you will find it. But there, his real name.
Yeah. Well,
And
you
let
can
me-
type if you do type Bigfoot and Michigan Rob also in the Amazon browser, it pulls up.
But if you want,
That's my real
that's
name. Yeah.
that's his real name. That's
Yeah.
not his superhero name.
That's my real name.
BMR is his superhero name.
Yes. It's my
Yeah.
alter ego.
Yeah. And people ask me the same question. They always ask, what's the M stand for? And my daughters even know. I can't. They've been harassed and like, no, he'll kill me. No, and I just tell everybody it's McLovin. So
Here. I
that's
love
all it
that
is.
movie. I love that movie.
You don't understand. Let me explain something here. So while I keep the books up about why it's called McLovin. There is a store over here. It's a firearms store. I'm friendly with the owners and a lot of the staff in there. They did the safety course down here. So I took the safety course. It was me, I think three other guys and like two women. It was on a Saturday or Sunday. You sit there, they go through it, they give you the cert, and then you fill out your packet, send it over to agriculture. And about 2 weeks, you get it back. So I'm like, I go through the whole thing, send it over to them. I'm like, I got my concealed carry. Open it up. It's my information, but some other guy's face. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I contact them. I'm waiting on the hold, listening. I said, listen, I emailed you guys, wrong face, right information. Here it is. And they said, oh, we're sorry. Send us another. I said, I'm going to send you another picture of what I look like. It'll be, look into the system. This is my address. No problem. We'll take care of it right away. Week goes by. They send me a new one. It's my information with the same other guy's face on it. So I go into the store and I'm like, yo, Mike, this is what happened. You see this crap. And from that point forward, he goes, oh my God, you're McLovin.
Yeah. Right.
So now I'm known as McLovin. And whenever I talk about their store, We Kick Brass, I say, just tell them McLovin sent you. And I've had people go, who?
Yeah.
Trust me. tell them Mick Lovin sent you. And they're like, just Mick Lovin sent to me. And like they go in there very timid. I was told Mick Lovin sent me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, cool, no problem." Like they think it's a joke, but
yeah,
that's what it stands for now. It's not. It doesn't stand for that though.
right,
But
right.
yeah, I've become Mick Lovin, Rob McLovin. But I'm glad. Are you doing a book 3?
No, I think not. I've got some left on. I do my live Friday night show. I do Encounter Stories live on my channel now. I think I am starting a 3rd book though. I've got it written on a legal pad, starting it just a rough draft. Again, I've got so many walks of life in the paranormal and weirdness. And I'm gonna make my 3rd book is be all about my weird experiences.
Right.
That's my next project.
And
I'm gonna let these first book 1 and 2 kind of mature and be out there for a while yet, to build that audience up, and then pop a bigger book about me.
yeah, I mean, everybody's like, Brian, what I put out a book, poetry, Words and Muses, a lyrical life to poetry, because I write music, I write poetry, I write songs, and lyrics basically poetry. A lot of love songs, right?
Yeah.
You get in trouble for that. But I've been writing over the years my notes on Bigfoot.
Okay.
My notes on the creature I never wanted to exist, but it does, the dog man.
Yes.
Have you ever had a dog man encounter?
No. I have. I talk a lot about it all the time. In fact, I did today. But yeah, I get a lot of Dogman Encounter stories sent in, and a lot of guests. I do a guest-driven show like this, and
Yep.
I know a lot about the Dogman without seeing one. Yeah, but I've never seen one.
Totally different when you see it in person.
Oh, I bet it is.
It's. I'll give you a quick. Long story short, someone I knew last summer, wanted to go see a Bigfoot. So I have an area that upstate New York. If you go to the right, it goes to a Bigfoot area. If you go to the left, it goes to a Dogman area.
Really? Okay.
So they're like all gung ho. I said, just stay to the right, stay to the right, stay to the right. Well, I hadn't been there in a long time. They moved to Florida. Things have brushed over. So they just kept walking. And then you hear, help. And I'm like, I run up to make sure, because they're like, running through it like they're doing cardio. And I'm like, look at me. I don't do cardio. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Like Bigfoot love songs. We're working on I actually have a Bigfoot moonshine song, but we'll get to that. Maybe I'll sing it at the conference. But and I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I run up, and like 20 yards in front of us is 7 foot tall, what they call a super soldier, a soldier dog.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I mean, it's pointed ears, big snout, big head.
Yeah.
The drool, kind of like my brother's Rottweiler, but like 100-fold, and it's curling its lip, and it's this guy is like, what the hell is that? I'm like, we'll get you out. Let's go. Everybody back out. Everybody back out. And they all turn around. I said, no, do not turn around. Back out. So I backed them out, looking, like keep going till we got out of the cut. And I'm like, is everybody all right? And him and this other person that was with him, like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, right.
And I said, that's something called, it's the dog man. And they live kind of, I'm going through the process. Well, they kind of live near each other, and and I'm like, let's go. We'll go to the right. We'll go to the Bigfoot. They're like, I want to go home now. And he just left. He wouldn't talk to me. He hasn't talked to me since.
Oh, you really? No. I'd be like, well, what is the? I'd be, well, me. I'd be more interested in. Wow, really? Now, what is that? I tell you, that. Hey, what I saw. Hey, I was on a boat 90 feet away, right? Which, I didn't feel safe just because the immense enormity of the Bigfoot itself. To see a dog man, like, on foot, to see what you just described, that's one of those experiences that I guess in an odd way I wouldn't mind it as long as I knew that I was going to make it out alive. Yeah,
Well, I've had a couple very close encounters. I mean, 20 yards is really close.
yeah, that's pretty close.
12, 15 feet is even closer.
That's on
And
top. Yeah.
and Al, you've had Al on, and what I love is, so they had Al on. It was Rob and Tex, and they were talking, and I think you went through the 2 hours for the show.
Yeah.
And like, well, maybe you have to come back there. And then Tex like, well, you just come on my show right after this.
Oh yeah, right.
It's just little competition fun stuff, but it's really great.
Yeah, I remember that distinctly.
Yeah. So Al was literally, the driver. It was his car, and it's like, it's big, dude. It's really, you're about 3 feet wide. I mean, yeah, about 36 inches, roughly, a little bit more than 36, maybe 4 feet. If a human body, this thing is like a lot more, and it's big. And what was interesting is, when I had that 12-footer encounter, it's in the shadow and it's sitting on its haunches, and it kind of looked like Scooby-Doo in shadow. You can see the big face. And when I'm standing there looking at it, peeing, not out of fear, just had to relieve myself.
Yeah.
I know I'm 6 foot 1 inches tall.
Okay.
And I'm on a 3-foot grade. So that makes me 9 feet 1 inches tall. And this thing's snout was coming up to here. That means that thing sitting down is 8 feet. And if it stands up,
come on, man,
it's 11 to 12 foot. Yeah. And then at one point it went, Al screaming, "Get in the car, bro." Al.
Yeah.
Get in the car. I'm gonna leave you. No, you're not. And it just it was kind of like your ghost. Like it just went down in a fluid motion, disappeared in the black. And then at that point, I get the goose pimples, and I was like, "Oh, we gotta go." and Al, I get in the car, and Al spins out like Mario Andretti, and I could have sworn this thing was going to chase us. It's not a cryptid that I'd like to see constantly. What's going on, Nathan from the Quantum Show? Welcome. But I love the fact that you have these encounters, and I love that people give you more stories.
That was the most surprising thing for me, because I just started saying, well, and I had no intentions. Hey, listen, I had no intentions of putting out a book, and I had to go through some legal stuff too. I contacted the majority of these people. I let know, because all the people in the books, Brian, they first started out as people that I want to have on the show.
Right.
And it just goes to show you how many people don't want to come forward. Hey, make a fake name if you want to put it in a book. I got a person gave me the idea, actually, a long time ago.
You can do that. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, and then I did, and then I told a lot of the people, so I tell you what, give me your story, and I might use it on my show, or I might one day make a book out of it. They're like, cool, whatever. And I had them sign this thing where, this, that, and the other legal stuff, but nothing too major.
You gotta get something signed saying that they're not gonna
monetary seek damage.
Right. I'm not being compensated, and I'm freely giving this to use for XYZ.
I had a lawyer friend of mine draw some up like that, and we did a computer thing.
I mean, I do this, like I was in Robert Monticelli's book, because he interviewed me about certain things, and it's like no contract was needed. I'm letting you license it out for this book. We're good. But you don't own, when you speak from your personal experience, it is yours. You're not, you're the copyright owner. And I try to do that with a lot of stuff, the research. I mean, like when I talk about UFOs, I try to bring in the photos, and I don't really have Bigfoot images, like, some of these guys that get these amazing things that look very similar to AI or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I love about the way you are is you're speaking from firsthand knowledge and with truth behind it. Even though you're getting some of the stories from other people, you're not sitting there, like, hey, that would be great if Bigfoot was driving a car, and then, you're making shit up.
Yeah. And there's the thing too. Yeah. And And back to your one point, yeah, I get a handful, every they trickle in. I started marketing that a long time ago for whatever the reason. My email's out there, but I tell people, I said, look, okay, I'll listen to I'll read every story someone sends. I will tell you this: there are some that I was like, oh boy, I don't know. I mean, literally, but then always remembered, Brian. I'm true to myself and to the people that listen to me. I'm not going to judge anybody's story. I wasn't there. I didn't walk in their shoes. Hey, there's 100 stories in 2 books. Are some of them probably made up, Brian? I'm not. I'm not going to say maybe, or maybe I always say this. I know these folks saw something, but maybe it's not quite the way they're describing it. You know what I mean?
100%, because you hear these stories from people. You kind of can tell the people that are trying to make stuff up, though.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, it's very simple, actually. When they go from show to show to show,
Oh, yeah. They
things
change.
change.
Yeah.
And my philosophy is, if you've experienced it, you may not remember every, over time. 12 years ago, do you remember
Yeah.
every detail?
No,
No.
you probably not.
But you remember, I was here, I was peeing, I was doing this, I was boom, 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 and you get the gist of it. I've heard people change things, add characters to the story,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, after a while, you're like, my bullshit meter is just, flying off the handle. But I've had people that had experiences, and they definitely believe they experience what they experience. So I feel you experience it. I wasn't there. I can't discredit you.
Yeah, right.
But something I can do, and I've done it, and I do it all the time, is when I did this to my daughter, and she didn't believe me, and I proved it. So I told my daughter I'm a human lie detector, and she's like, "Oh yeah, really? Try, whatever."
Yeah.
Because how do you do that? And this is how I work, because I do remote viewing, and I do. Everybody has these abilities, by the way, and I think you have abilities too. You just really didn't tap into it, and then you just like, I don't really need to tap into it at this point. I'm good with where I am.
Right.
Because some people just like, that's nice. I don't want to do this right now. So when people start talking to me and they tell me things, stories or whatever, if you're telling me something true, I actually can start seeing it in my mind's eye. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's like I'm actually watching it takes place as you're going through it. And I can go up ahead and I can look at certain things and then ask you questions and details and say, what was that pink thing that was on the right? And I've done that. And people are like, how'd you know about the pink, whatever? I'm like, just asking. When they catch you, sometimes they say, oh, you said it. And it throws them. But when, when people are full of, what?
Yeah.
Nothing comes in, it goes black.
Mm.
Okay. The only caveat I have is if we're all hanging out and all of us, like, you, Keith, me, Henry, Woo, whatever,
Yeah.
everybody, it's a guy's thing.
Yeah.
And like, we were with Mikey and he took his car, he went right over this cliff.
Oh, yeah. Right.
There's always that one guy that's doing the stupidest things, but he's doing the stupidest things.
Yes, right.
And then someone wants to, the same thing happened with me, but I took my cousin's motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you get away with the writer's embellishment because you're trying to fit in, but that's a bullshit story.
Yeah, you're full.
I don't call people out on it. It's not my thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, yes, yeah. You
But
just know where you stand with them personally, between yourself and that. That's all.
It's just, but when we interview people or experiencers,
yeah,
I get imagery of things they're seeing, and the coolest thing is when it comes to them talking about what the creatures look like, and I'm talking about extraterrestrials, mind you.
Yeah.
It only happens with extraterrestrials.
Oh wow.
It's fuzzy.
Okay.
It's as if they don't want me seeing it. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, okay.
Other things like, Bigfoot, I said, Al goes out. I couldn't make it. He goes on a Bigfoot investigation. He brings these 2 women and these 2 guys to our area, and I couldn't do it. I said, I'm going to remote view it. And I sent him, hey, you're going to see this There's going to be a fallen tree in front of you. There's going to be a tree in the back. You're in a kind of like a diamondish pattern. To the right is the rocks. To the left is, and I'm describing everything. You're going to see a blue light. They're coming in. They're creeping in from the top over there and from the other side of the fallen tree. And boom. And he goes, yeah, just got all that. And I literally described everything, and I'm not even there. I just see them there. And, this is how I operate, and spot on about everything. And they go, we just saw the blue flame. I said, yeah, that's them. They're sending it out. But the thing that pissed me off is he texts me back, and they go, they want to know what color they're thinking of. And I'm like, I'm not a freaking dog and pony show. This isn't a sideshow.
Right.
But I got it. I said, the women are thinking of something more chartreuse green, and the guys are thinking of like a purple blue. And he came back. They're laughing. They want to know how you do it.
Yeah, right.
It just comes. So just what it is.
I think we all have special abilities. The girls say that I do have extraordinary abilities. They sense that for me, and I don't. Okay, thanks. We'll talk about it some other time. But I will tell you this, though. I might have told you this. We've talked together so many different times. I sometimes lose track, but this is well worth mentioning, though, about myself. I always could sum up people very quickly. I could tell people's intentions, like up till today. I can at a mobile gas station. I just, for whatever, people always come up to me. It seems strangers for no reason want to talk to me. Oh no, they do.
No, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you on that.
And it happens. One guy and I at a mobile started talking about this paranormal encounter he had, and I have no clue as to why he brought this up to me. Do I have like a target on my back that says I am a paranormal dude? So anyway, really briefly, this is even at the bar, I didn't have to read your resume. All I needed to do was talk to you for 2 minutes, and I could decide if you'd work out or not. And when I used the resume, they never worked out. So I trashed that idea.
Yeah.
So this kid, Jimmy, lived in my neighborhood, 5 or 6 years old, right around the ghost era time for me, right? And it was like, I didn't like Jimmy. I told my mom and dad I didn't like Jimmy. Told my brother stay away from Jimmy. A couple of days go on, Jimmy's still coming over, lives in the neighborhood. And I told my mom and dad that I thought Jimmy was evil. My mom and dad looked at me, where'd you come up with such a word as evil?
Right.
And I really don't know where I pulled that word out of, because I probably should know that at 5 when you're watching Scooby-Doo. I mean, so just, Rob, just stop, whatever. I can't remember what they told me exactly, obviously. So anyway, he was always in my school district. He always was in the neighborhood within 3 miles of vicinity, right? And middle school, never liked Jimmy.
Right.
Told my friends, there's something about Jimmy. Rob, you've been dissing on Jimmy ever since I've known you, man. Give it up. Give it a rest. What's wrong with him? I don't know. I got this vibe. Oh, you're a weirdo. Okay. I don't know that I'm weird. I just can't explain myself to you guys. High school, same thing, even a little stronger. It got to the point where we're playing soccer. He was in my gym class.
Right.
Jim and I got in a tussle on the soccer field. We're rolling around, contacting each other, touching. And I got this, Bryan, never felt this way in my life about anything. I got this fear in me. I got this fear in my brain, in my body. I grew cold. It was hot sweat. I pushed him away. I felt evil. I maybe I should say I felt evil, but I felt dark place with this dude. I pushed him away. I ran from him like a baby. And I got laughed at because I could have beat his butt. This kid was not even a big kid. Rob, what's wrong with you? Oh, it's that Jimmy. He's, Rob's always had it out for Jimmy. So I was the Jimmy bully, even though I never bullied him. I just told my closest of friends, stay away. Why? I really don't know, Bryan. I go off to college. I'm gone 4 years, except when he's seen the family on the holidays. You know how that goes. Yep. And then my mom and dad are having a graduation party for me from graduating. And then all my closest friends were over from high school and such. My mom and dad had said, "Oh, Rob, we want to tell you something on your how we always remember Jimmy. I go, yeah. Why are you bringing up fucking Jimmy?
We bring up Jimmy.
Jimmy on my celebration. Yeah, the guy I hate. Yeah. What about him? Well, we just wanted to tell you that you were right all along as a little boy about Jimmy. I go, why? What did he do? He murdered his grandmother.
Wow.
And my jaw dropped.
That's
And, I said, then I'm like, I knew this all along somehow, didn't I? How come I didn't foresee that?
you just knew he was bad.
But if I'd have known something, maybe I could have helped. I don't know. But that's how my brain works. But yeah, I just felt something. But I was like, so now when I get a bad vibe about somebody, I don't, I take it for what it is. I roll with it. I run or I'll hang with you. You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, you're definitely in touch with more of the ability side of yourself. Everybody has these abilities. God gave you these abilities. The reason why God said don't go to soothsayers, witches, and whatever is because you can talk to God by through your abilities. You being the young age with Jimmy,
Yeah.
you don't know how to articulate it, but you may have seen things or just. It's really weird when I do readings or whatever, people are like, how do you know this? And I'm like, I can't tell you how I know. I know it as if I've known my name.
Mm,
You knew there was something wrong with him. You may not have seen
yeah.
or witnessed it or are able to comprehend like he's, like something saying he's going to murder somebody, but you knew you saw something and you felt something about him. Unfortunately, this is what happens in the world. People are very naive and they give people
They do, and I will say this about Jimmy. Certainly I'm not giving him any respect, but I could see why people thought I was the bad guy because Jimmy really, he was never really in trouble. I mean, he wasn't a troublemaker by any. It wasn't a bad kid. It didn't seem like to me, but it was just the vibe that I felt that I just could never
right.
point at. I couldn't pull it out, right? And as you said, as a
Yep.
younger fellow growing up, I have no idea what I'm going through and can't express it or didn't see further into it. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. So something similar to that is my youngest, 13 now, going on like 45. That's what happens when you have daughters. They think they're older than you. She's in line and in tune with stuff. And then she starts seeing things and she'll start saying things that she's seeing, but she doesn't understand the comprehended. Very much like you did. Like you knew something was up with Jimmy and you say, no, he's evil. There's something bad about him. Because you can feel the negative or bad from people. It's literally there. Dogs get it all the time.
Oh yeah, they're great at it.
Right. So you're keying in on that. And she does this all the time. And it's great because I warn people before they meet her. I said, if you have something you're keeping secret, you better lock that down.
Yeah.
And because she's Al knows her. She's awesome. But she's she'll start telling you things, and she's going to blow your mind. Like, how the hell did you know that? And she's not trying to be rude. She's just trying to figure out how, she got the information. She's throwing it out there as if she's known it, but not understanding like, honey, don't ask Father Montgomery why he's having an affair with the secretary. Just don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But she'll be like, so you're banging her, huh?
Yeah.
Literally straightforward. She's out of control. I blame myself. I did raise her from a child. But this is the same thing. Like, maybe if you had parents, not to say your parents were bad, mind you, I'm just saying if they were into this subject matter way back when, maybe they could have seen it and said, okay, Rob, let's work on this. Because I don't think it's evil as much, but you're sneezing and I don't want to, it's almost that time.
Yeah.
Well, it is that time. We went over a little bit here, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, almost 2 hours. You're well worth
Yeah.
the time. Well worth.
I appreciate it. I mean, I can keep going, but
I
some
could
people
too,
are
man.
cutting it
There's
off.
once we get rolling like this, I felt 2 hours in me, but yeah, my throat's going out. This
Yep.
hi werewolf and everybody in chat. Thanks for coming in.
Yep. It's coming in werewolf. I apologize. I mean,
I
he
love the
does.
show. Yeah, this is a great show. I got to tell you about the shadow people next time we come on.
Yeah, I'll tell you about the shadow people. I think I may be coming on soon.
You're coming on my show in May.
Yeah, I
Sometime.
am. And I appreciate that. So I have to put that in. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Fucking asshole he is. She's her father's daughter.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Al's a great guy too. He's been on the show a couple times.
Oh my God. We did a conference up in Pine Bush, right? And then this was a bunch of years ago, almost 5 years ago. So she was probably about 8, 9 years old. And we stayed up in the Pine Bush area, and Al got pissed because they were pulling down the conference, where we're supposed to speak, just before we're supposed to speak. And he's like, these he's getting majorly like Sonny and the Godfather, like steam's coming off of him. So I had to go take over because I can't speak. I mean, and so we did a great job. We finally got up there. And then when we got back to where the hotel, we got breakfast at this cup and saucer diner. You put a quarter in, you do the gumball machine.
Yes.
My daughter got this fake mustache, and she turned around. She went, yo, my name is Al Regan.
Oh no,
I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And then she goes, I'm Bryan Bowden. Fuck all of you. And I got it all on video, so it was great. But we're gonna have we're gonna have Mr. BMR back, Rob.
Yeah, I love to come back.
Going some other stuff, but also, and I'll talk to you guys about like doing a roundtable, getting anybody on to promote the conference, promoting it.
Absolutely, that'd be a great time. We can we can talk backstage for a moment before you close out because there's someone want to ask you off air.
No problem.
And then I want to thank everybody and say hi to. Because I didn't really type. My eyes up. I've been up for like a long time. I was up. I did a film. I'm going to be in a documentary coming up.
Yes, he is.
And I don't want to really give. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but
probably not because it's still doing.
It's in post production, I guess you would call it in the business. So yeah, they'll be out in a year. They told me. So we'll look forward to that later.
Well, they'll probably let you promote it here and there and put it out because that's the promotion. But yeah, I would contact who and say, hey, when can I talk about it?
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to get in trouble.
No, I'm not going to do it just yet. No, I'm going to find out the details on that. But yeah, thanks to all the people. I see a lot of friendly folks from my chat and newer people. So yeah, appreciate it. I always have. I love you're one of my favorite people. Al is too, by the way, and I'm not just saying it because Al's.
The hell with Al.
What the Godfather? What? I can't get.
Well, that's that. I have all these sound bites. Of Al in my Roku, my Rode. So I got this.
I'm calling bullshit.
And then I have.
But I know he's full of shit.
I just kept them. I did this one thing where I got a voicemail from Al, and we used to do Vic Cundiff's show. You know who Vic Cundiff is? Like Bigfoot Eyewitness Radio, Dogman, whatever it is. And I'm like, hi Al, this is Vic Cundiff. Al, where'd you see your first Sasquatch? I don't know, a shop and stop. It's great. I'm gonna play it one day. I'm just gonna post it and whatever. But I appreciate everybody being here. We're gonna do Shakespeare next week. It's gonna be weird on the day. It's the 23rd, I believe, of April. Same day Shakespeare died, and Catherine, who's coming on, wrote a book saying Shakespeare didn't write shit. So did he or not did he? That is the question. We'll get that on, but just give me a couple of a moment. I'm gonna run my end. I'm gonna end my screen.
I'm gonna go take care of some.
Right, and I'll still be there. And like I always do, if it wasn't for BMR and everybody in chat and friends and family and you, we wouldn't be doing this. So thank you very much. You have a blessed week. Bye.
It's always been you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I've seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you. True love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. I love you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I have seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you, true love is you. Love is you, true love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you.